Next up is Greg Biffle. He drives the number 16 3M Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. He's currently seated 7th in points. He's won one time this year, Pocono. And Greg, memory serves me correct, a couple years ago, you got out of the chute really quick here at New Hampshire, won the first 2 races in the chase. Can you do that again?
You know, I mean, certainly I think we're capable of doing it again. We came off the truck pretty decent here. We kept picking up speed, and switched over to qualifying, and the car was real good in qualifying trim. So got some ideas going back to race trim, what we're going to try a little bit different for tomorrow. But certainly think that we got, you know, as good a chance as anybody to win here Sunday.
Questions for Greg Biffle? Let's go with Brad and then Chuck and then Mike.
Greg, Brad Gilly, PRN. You got 3 Roush cars in the chase, then you've got David Reagan. Does he become the test bed essentially for the company during these final 10? And what you get out of him, can it be as reliable as what you get from Matt or Carl?
Well, I mean, David, his performance has picked up tremendously since, you know, we changed his front suspension as well. So maybe if there's engine things or stuff like that they might try. You know, the other thing we have is we have the 4 or the 3 RPM or 4 RPM cars. So we've got those guys over there that can be trying things. You know, they're same cars, same engines, same everything. So we're definitely looking at those guys to help us a little bit. And I think it's kind of a collective effort between the whole organization, you know, both RPM and our side.
Let's go Chuck and then Mike Vega.
Chuck Howard, NASCAR Media Group. Greg, 2-part question. First off, here, of course, this week, is Dover one of the tracks, even though it's early on in the chase, that could surprise the folks as far as you got to mind your P's and Q's because that racetrack can get full in a hurry, especially on the backstretch? And then secondly, on to Kansas, how do you feel about your intermediate track stuff overall?
Well, I feel, you know, I feel really strong about our mile-and-a-half program. I'll start there. You know, Michigan, we were really good. Pocono, Kansas, or Indy, and Chicago. All those places were super fast. Felt like the cars were driving good. So I'm looking forward to that. Dover, one of my favorite places to go. I got a couple wins there and a bunch of top 5s. So looking forward to going back. And this weekend, you know, so far so good. The car's pretty decent. You know, I think we ended up in the top 10 in practice there in qualifying trim. So work on a little bit more, hopefully a top 10 qualifying spot. And, you know, I think, like I said, I think we got the same opportunities, all these guys here this weekend.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Greg, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Certainly with the strong ties that your team has to Boston and everything, you guys were able to kind of take advantage here yesterday of some things and maybe today as well. Can you talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff you've done here and driving the Duck? How was that? How did you find that? And then working at Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru there.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun up here so far. You know, they told us we were going on a duck tour, and I thought, well, I've seen a lot of ducks in my life. I'm not sure, you know, what kind of ducks I'm going to be looking at, but come to find out it's an amphibious vehicle that they take you around Boston, you know, and kind of show you all the historical parts of Boston. So that was kind of neat. And then the vehicle goes in the water as well. So, and anyways, I learned a lot. Found out what a duck tour was, and recommend it highly for people that get an opportunity.
How did it handle with the water?
It handled great. Not very fast, so you know, don't be in a hurry to get anywhere. But it does well in the water. And this morning, if any of you stopped by Dunkin' Donuts, I was working the drive-thru. I went down there, got some coffee, and got behind there and packaged up some donuts and made a little coffee. So that was fun. They're real strong, you know, and our home base is up here in this area. So and partners with Fenway Sports Group, of course. So you know, had a lot of fun over there this morning. Got up and went over there and did a little of that. So I got some free coffee out of the deal. That's mainly what I was interested in. So had a lot of fun.
Next question. Don Coble has it, and then we'll go to Dustin.
Greg, unlike the other chases, does this one kind of set itself up to be different than the other chases in that nobody comes in with any true momentum, and could this easily end up being the chase that 11 people lose?
Yeah, it really does. A lot of people have asked me, who's your pick, who's the favorite, or beside yourself, who do you think? And I just, you got to put all their names in a basket and just draw one out, because it's a lottery draw at this point to me. I couldn't pick one guy over the other, for who I think is going to win this thing. It's as close as I've ever seen it. Competition-wise, you look at the speed chart this weekend and where everybody's running, it's going to be like that for 10 weeks. So I think it's going to be the guy that has the least mistakes or the least amount of damage control on the racetrack. So the guy that, salvages that 13th place finish somewhere where stuff's going bad versus, finishing 23rd or worse or something like that. I think that's what's going to be the guy that wins it, is the guy that can minimize the downside versus winning, 4 or 5 of these things.
Got a follow-up, Don?
Real quick, and I hate to bring this one up about not losing it. Simple things like a lug nut at Texas, which essentially cost you a championship. And could it come down to something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Come down to a pit stop, Atlanta. We got a lug nut behind the wheel and sitting on the stud, and we went from running 5th to the back of the pack and then got in an accident. Any of those things can happen. Texas in 05, I had a loose wheel and had to come in and lost a lap, and the caution never flew the rest of the day. So there can be heartbreak as well, and that's the damage I talked about on the downside. A guy that minimizes that, got a flat, came in, got tires, got caught back up, got the lucky dog, finished 13th. That's the kind of championship caliber drive it's going to take.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Some of the drivers have said that you can't win the championship here, you can't lose the championship here. If you subscribe to that theory, when does this chase really start in your mind?
I think that we all have our own opinion about it, and my opinion is you can lose a championship here, this race. You do something bonehead and back in the fence, finish 38th or 40th. You got a ways to go, and so I think that. Come Homestead, you lose it by 35, 40, 50 points. You could say, well, I made a mistake at Loudon or something happened, and that was the race that ultimately cost it. So, we tend to look at the later races, like, for instance, the 39 not getting into the chase. He didn't run good enough or whatever at Richmond. Well, what about the middle of the season when he did whatever? That one race cost him the chance to be in the chase. So you can pick any one of these 10 and say that was the reason why I didn't win the championship. So I don't agree. It can't be one here either. If you go out and win the race, I won the first 2 in 08 and I finished 3rd in points. So but you can certainly lose it.
Any additional questions? Greg, thanks a lot, and good luck on Sunday.